Hey guys, welcome to the Nerd Alert podcast from Project 20. I am Butter. This is episode 2, and I have Mr. Van Bacon with me today to talk about the action RPG game Last Epoch, which is available on PC via Steam. Before we get to the game, though, Bacon, we have to say hello to the viewers and listeners out there. Are you ready for this? Hello, gamers, and nerds. Nerds. Exactly. See, everybody's going to do their own thing. Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's good to have you on here. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the Last Epoch, but first we want to get to know the Bacon, or as we sometimes call him, La Bacon when we're getting real fancy. But otherwise, you are known as Mr. Van Bacon. Where's that name from, dude?
So because I teach middle school, my last name rhymes with Bacon. That's the only thing the kids can figure out how to call me. So it's just been years of middle school children calling me Bacon. So that just became the thing.
So then you made that your gamer tag?
Better than anything else I had in the past. So
that's pretty good.
Why not?
Yeah.
Has a little story behind it, I guess. A little better than something completely random.
Right. So how long have you been gaming for?
Halo 2. If not before. My parents had an NES, so we would play like old Zelda Duck Hunt on like a giant tube TV. So it's been a little while. Yeah.
Like old
the giant ones that were like 3 feet thick.
Yeah. Oh, I remember those.
Those are cool. It's like Duck Hunt Mario, and then just never really stopped.
Yeah.
Just kept playing Zelda and stuff like that.
I had Duck Hunt. I had one of those, they're like weird custom guns. But it
where
was
the whole
huge.
screen turns black and there's like 1 pixel.
I don't remember that part. But like my godfather got me this really big gun.
Not the original NES one?
No, I had that, but then he like brought, at one point he just showed up. He was like, check this out. I'm like, okay, cool. And it's this huge like rifle-y thing. I don't know where it came from. It did work with the system, but yeah, that's a long time ago. I've been gaming for quite some time.
Yeah, it's been a while. And then just, all through college.
Yeah.
High school, played old Diablo and Halo and all those things.
Yeah. What do you mostly play now?
I mean, kind of depends. When everyone's on, like Destiny's cool still when we do raids, but otherwise just whatever's new. No Man's Sky got an update. Last Epoch.
Yeah.
Helldivers is fun. Apex can be too sweaty sometimes.
I know. I
bunch of stuff.
Seen you on Apex for a while.
No, Apex is brutal right now. I can't.
No.
When there's other things that are just as much fun but more mellow.
Yeah. You just listen to Snuggle. Get very
pretty much. Listen to everyone else get angry while I shoot bugs.
Right.
It's way more chill.
Yeah, so we were going to talk about Helldivers, but we're on Last Epoch today. Last Epoch was developed by 11th Hour Gaming, which is a very small studio now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Apparently it's all just old Diablo 2 fans.
Oh, wow. That is Diablo 2. That was quite some time ago.
Yeah.
It's a hack and slash action RPG.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You
want to tell me a little bit about the game?
I mean, it's cool. It feels a lot like old Diablo 2, where you get to play Tetris with your inventory and move stuff around. The classes, there's 5 classes, but each one has 3 specializations. So I have on the other monitor when I just started a rogue I'm flying around with a bird, and it's cool.
Yeah, that's the
Falconer. Just
totally, right?
It's like old Diablo. Yeah, the Falconer, and then I have a mage that just throws ice everywhere, and I can kind of go AFK and it'll kill everything. But
right.
It's cool. It's like old Diablo, but with a lot more quality of life stuff that has come with the last 20 years of game development.
Right. And I was looking this up because I haven't played it, but looks like the game was released into beta in 2019, but it was only just publicly released in February this year, right?
Yeah.
That's why everybody's
I guess it's been in early access for a long time.
That's 5 years. I mean, I know there's like, I think they were talking about it and it was affected by COVID and they had a international developing team. So there was a lot of issues there.
I had heard something like that, but I guess that's also why it feels super complete. Where like Diablo 4, as like another competitor, doesn't.
Yeah.
Where they've like had so many years of people giving them feedback, where there's an actual end game and all the builds are unique. And, they took time to get it right.
Right.
Which is cool. Like everything feels viable. I just completely made up my Rune Master build for the longest time before looking one up, and got through everything totally fine.
That sounds good because we mentioned Diablo a few times, and we all played Diablo together, right? And one of the issues was like I started out with the druid, and it was brutal. Like I was able to tank stuff, but then I couldn't kill shit, and it would just take me so long to kill anything that it was exhausting. And then you play
then the necro,
and then you're so
try making minions work, and you just can't.
Yeah, so you basically end up using like whatever meta build is available, right? And then but the devs talk about it like they don't want everybody to use the same build. So
yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I know Chris has been playing this one with a warlock or a necromancer, and the minions just do everything.
Yeah,
which is the same thing I tried doing in the other one, but I just couldn't.
Do you find that it's not challenging enough, or because it sounds like things go pretty smoothly? Yeah.
No, I think the difference is you can play how you want and not be punished for it.
Right.
Whereas before, like when I tried Necromancer, if I did anything that wasn't Bone Spear and Diablo 4, I would just get crushed.
Yeah, that's true.
And nothing dies, and the game gets unnecessarily, I don't know, unnecessarily just challenging, where it's not like fun. It's because nothing dies. But I'm dumping all cooldowns and everything's just smiling as it marches toward you.
Yeah.
I don't know. That part's kind of lame. This one's cool. It's definitely, I don't know, I think it's harder than Diablo in some ways. But you have so many more tools where you can like open a forge up and modify your weapons, and every skill has an ability. There's way more variety, so that's cool.
What makes it harder? Like, what aspects are more difficult?
Well, when you die, you restart. So, like, when me and Chris will play together, if he dies, it's just he has to wait until I beat the encounter, or vice versa. There's no, like, run over and pick the person up.
Oh, okay. There's no revive.
So, like, there's no revive. So, if you screw up, you have to, like, restart. So, you're more punished in that way, I guess.
Yeah.
But none of the deaths have felt cheap yet to me. Like dungeon bosses have like one-shot mechanics, but you can just look them up and learn it.
Mm-hmm.
But like in the campaign, if I die, it's because like I did something stupid.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the one-shot mechanics are avoidable?
All the ones I've ran into, yeah. It's way more telegraphed. Like I've never felt like I haven't gotten off-screen.
Yeah.
By like some ballista skeleton or something random.
Right.
I'm just like, hey, I can just walk around. If I die, it's because I put myself somewhere where I shouldn't have been, or I tried kiting way too many mobs together, and then I dumped cooldowns and it wasn't enough.
Right.
It's just like I play dumb and then I die. Not so much like I'm playing the way I'm supposed to.
Right.
And then I get off screen by something.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened to me yet.
Yeah, that's really
so
annoying.
That was one of the big ones.
Yeah.
Every time I would try to do something different, I would just die.
Yeah.
That's lame.
I mean, that was sort of like why I stopped playing Diablo, even though, new seasons have been coming out. And my thing was like, I think it was season 2, I played a rogue and I was pretty kitted, and I try to do
Sure.
the last encounter. And the thing is, like, yeah, you can get more people together, but it was what's her face?
The Lilith fight.
Yeah, the Lilith fight. I tried to do the Lilith fight, and I got to max level finally, which the leveling part was sort of its own nightmare after a certain. I think it was like after 70, pretty much level 70. It was just a pure grinding out level in the most repetitive way. And so it got super boring, but I freaking did it just to see if I could, do the Lilith fight. And I'd get her to like 40% and she'd one shot me. But there's, like you said, there's no telegraphing, right? So she flies up in the air and then she crashes down and you're dead. But there's no like, here's a symbol on the ground to avoid, or here's the path, and here's the tiny little pixel that you have to land on so that you don't die. There's nothing. I looked everywhere. I tried it so many times. And eventually
that's where the broken builds came in. You had to run one of the broken builds to do the end game stuff. Otherwise, you couldn't.
Yeah, you had to like one shot.
You had a that was the Bone Spear and Necros, which is like the only way those beat her is because they would kill her before she could do anything.
Yeah. So.
And that's
dumb.
cool. It's fun the first time, and then it just gets boring.
Yeah, I mean.
Right, so you run something that's busted, and the devs nuke it, or you run what you want, and you can't.
Yeah.
You just can't build it or beat it.
Yeah, I mean, every time too, they would the devs would like talk about how they want you to do the different builds and they don't want the one build to be super strong, but then you make the game so that it's not playable as any other builds, then how do you expect people to do anything,
Yeah. All the boss fights in the campaign of Last Epoch feel different than that. Like you kill like some Cthulhu style monster where there's like multi-stages and all his attacks. Like you could get stunned and an instant killed, but it was like if you looked at the attack, you could see where it was coming from. Like the tentacle would turn a certain way before attacking you, or the guy's eyes would light up, and then you needed to run the other way. And if you didn't, you got captured. Like you got caught in it.
Right.
But it wasn't just you just automatically hit like some laser beam and you died.
Right.
With no way to avoid it.
Yeah.
Which like that fight was super cool. The final boss fight is, same idea. It was cool. There's like multi stages, and everything is pretty well telegraphed. There's a giant cone appears in front of them, or a circle on the ground, or whatever it might be.
Right.
That was cool.
So you already beat the campaign, right?
I beat the campaign, and Chris and I have been messing around the end game.
Yeah.
Which is cool. It's actually there's like 3 different things to do. So there's like a horde mode, like their version of dungeons where you just like run through short mini encounters, but you can pick what you want. So there's like a spiderweb kind of map, and you have to like clear different, they call them echoes. And as you clear them, like when you click on one, it'll show you an icon of what you're going to get. So do you want a mace? Do you want a bow? Do you want a helmet? It'll dump like 20 maces or bows or helmets at the end of it. And then some of them are trash, but some of them are great. And then so it's cool. There's that, and there's dungeons. Yeah. There's like actual variety,
right?
Which is not just go run Nightmare Dungeons again.
Pretty much, right?
Which is that, and they kill Uber Lilith in 3 seconds.
Nightmare of its own.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, I got stuck on Nightmare Dungeons at one point. I was like doing super well, and then all of a sudden things were just one-shotting you, and like you said, from off screen, which is the fucking worst. And so again, not playable anymore. So you get stuck. And
I couldn't do that.
No. So you said it'll drop 20 items, which brings me to inventory management, because we had a huge issue with that with Diablo.
So, I mean, if I click on my stash right now, I have, for the Meiji character, I have 5 tabs of just stuff. But they're like all color-coded and labeled, and you can also just buy unlimited stashes.
Okay.
So,
what about how much can you carry on you, right? Because I remember just like constantly every 5 minutes having to go to town and sell shit.
What's this grid?
So that was super annoying.
I mean, it's an 8 by 8 by 14 grid.
Okay.
where like keys are one, like a 1x1. You have like armor is like a 2x3. So I mean, you can carry a lot, but also like gear. Like if I look in my rogue right now, nothing sells for more than 40 gold. So there's no reason to pick on. I guess an idol is 70, but like nothing is worth picking up to sell for money. Like you get like devs made all the gear worth like pennies, so that you're disincentivized to pick it up and to go back to town to sell it. You just get money. You get more money just by walking around killing people.
Okay.
Yeah. So like there's a ton of gear, but just none of it's any is any valuable for it has no value in terms of money.
Right.
What are you doing? Your charger? You want me to get it? Yeah. So it's like I don't go back and sell. I get sold, like I just dump stuff on the ground.
Okay.
There's like no reason to.
Right. And you don't get it just from walking over it, right? I can't remember if I actually had to interact with things or if I just like, I feel like if I walked over it, it showed up in my bag. So then you had to like avoid gold piles.
No, so there's no pets to like go pick up gold for you. But I mean, I don't pick up anything and I have like almost 1 million gold.
Yeah.
I don't go out of my way to pick gold up. I don't sell stuff. I just throw it straight on the ground. What they do have, which is cool, is I turned on some setting. What do they call it? I don't know where it's at, but auto compare items. So like if I when there's a bunch of loot on the ground, if I just hover over it, it'll pull up what I currently have equipped.
Yeah.
And then compare it to and so it'll give you like the 2 weapons or armor or whatever it is, so you can see what you have equipped, and then if it's an improvement or an interesting in any way, and you can just kind of like scroll over the loot pile real fast like that, and then just leave everything else on the ground.
Do you have to look yourself, or does it kind of tell you like plus minus? Do you know what I mean?
You can set it up to do that.
Okay.
I haven't, because I look for just like the affixes, because the way gear works is there's like this. I don't know. I haven't done a lot in the rogue yet, but there's like a bow that's a savage bow or salvage bow. All of them have the same base thing of plus whatever ranged bow damage and then increase damage over time. They all will have those 2 traits, and they'll have up to 4 other traits. So like you just want to look for, I like the savage or birch bow or salvage bow. So if I see those, then I'll go pick them up, and then afterwards I'll look and be like, well, this one has a cool trait, but all the rest suck. And I'll just like pull that trait out of it to put it on a different one.
Oh, okay.
So like you can take traits off in the forge and then apply them to other weapons.
Do you need a thing to pull trait off of, or?
Kind of, yeah. So like if I have a bow right now that has like bow fire damage, bow physical damage, health on kill, and chance to slow, I can put them all into the forge, and then you use a little rune, which is cheap.
The runes.
And then you can pull those 4 things off. Okay. So then you can reapply those to a different bow.
Yeah. So
you like craft whatever gear you actually want.
Okay. You playing mouse and keyboard right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you played Diablo, did you use you were on Xbox, no?
Yeah, Diablo 4 I was. When I played Diablo 2, it was obviously not.
Yeah.
So like I prefer this kind of thing on mouse and keyboard.
Yeah. Did you, in terms of, the interactions and the gameplay itself, do you feel like the 2 are pretty similar, or is one a little more, sometimes the movement's a little more slick or more comfortable for one game in terms of one game versus another?
I think it's just different. I think you maybe have more control on a mouse, or not a mouse, a controller, because you can just like stop moving. Whereas like if I click over there, like the character's going to run all the way to where I clicked.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I like these games more with mouse and keyboard though, just because like the inventory. I remember on Diablo 4, you couldn't move inventory. Like it would just automatically sort it to whatever you wanted. Whereas like here, it's nice to go like, I want that key like on the bottom right.
Oh.
Something like dumb, like the sort gear.
Yeah,
You can't do that.
I mean, you could do it with mouse and keyboard on Diablo. That's what I used to do. So I
Sure.
would like, although the inventory on you was so small, that
Hmm.
it would just fucking fill up anyway. But yeah, I would
Sure.
like put them in the four corners of my bag so I know which is which, and I could find
Yeah,
it faster.
exactly. Like I put like all the stuff I want to keep on the far right, and all the stuff
Yeah,
I might, it's just then it will fill to the left, and I know what to look at.
yeah,
But you couldn't do that. But I mean, like the crafting things for their forge, it's all stored like in a different separate tab, kind of like what we all wanted Diablo to do.
yeah,
Like the gems having a tab, like it just does.
yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah,
That makes
it's
a lot more sense. Um, what about the graphics? Because I did take a look at some clips and
oh, I
some
mean, compared to
trailers.
Diablo, it's not as it's I mean, it's not as polished as Diablo.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it looked like it was. I mean, it was pretty good, and then, but it looks like very flashy, almost like super shiny. Some of the effects versus
The
like I feel like
abilities are, yeah.
yeah, I feel like the Diablo ones are more detailed, even if it's like less flashy. But I also
Well, the Diablo's got,
Diablo's
I mean, it's got
Diablo.
way more polish.
Yeah,
Diablo does. Like the from a graphics point, Diablo's way better. Like there's the grass blades have shadows and stuff like that. Whereas on this one, like it is a little flatter, and then
yeah,
they have like the really neon colored, and depending on what ability. I mean, I
yeah,
use the mage, so everything was like flashing colors. Um, so that was definitely it's different,
yeah.
but I don't. It's just more fun. So it's
Right,
like I don't really care. Right? Like it doesn't
right.
look as good as Diablo, but it plays better.
Yeah, which is much more
And
important.
like yeah, and it's also not just the same four enemies.
Right.
Like there's like dinosaurs and there's like necromancy kind of thing.
What?
It's like you just fight all kinds of
There's
stuff.
dinosaurs. That's funny.
Yeah,
Um,
it's cool.
how many game modes are there? Is it just the so because yeah, there's the campaign and then just open world.
Yeah, it's not open world in the sense like Diablo where you just be running around and see people.
Okay.
You only really ever see other people that aren't in your party in town.
Oh.
Like there's not just like an open map. It's like the old school. Like you go from point A to point B. Some of the points have waypoints where you can like warp to. Um, yeah, it's definitely more Diablo 2, less
Yeah. Less
4.
running around.
Yeah, like you can just
Uh,
warp pretty much anywhere
so then
within
there's no
reason.
PvP.
Not that I've
Yeah.
found,
Okay.
which I don't really feel like it's really missing it or missing out because it's not a feature.
No, I think I actually thought the PvP was probably what messed up Diablo 4, honestly.
Having to
Because
balance stuff around it.
yeah, because it's almost impossible to balance PvE stuff with PvP stuff at the same time, like the same class, and that was like they had the same issue with Warcraft. I don't know why they just didn't learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they could have maybe made two different games, and
Mm,
played around more like that, right? Where you can be like, here's one that's PvP, purely PvP based end game, and then a PvE based end game, and not mix the two, because that's why
sure.
there was like the really popular builds and etc. I was running around at one point, and I was in the PvP area, and I killed
In
like
Diablo.
two. Yeah, I killed like two or three people, and then all of a sudden, one of their buddies showed up and just like one shot me. And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that was fun.
Yeah. It was. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's cool. I guess it's just annoying where they also then they locked currency behind it that you kind of needed,
yeah,
or at least it felt like you needed at some points. But I didn't want to PvP people. It's
yeah,
a PvE game to me.
yeah. Pretty much. Which that's why it didn't really make a lot of sense that they put PvP on the Diablo one. But so are there gonna be seasons like, or just the
I don't
game is the
know.
game?
From what I've seen, it's just kind of like the game is the game.
Hmm. Okay.
But yeah,
I
cycles.
haven't seen anything about potentially seasons coming out where there more skins to buy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, their store is super buried. Like, I don't even know how to get to it. I think you have to, like,
That's crazy.
appearance. Yeah, it's like, you can get, I mean, there's stuff. Like, looking now, there's definitely things you can get, like, buy a pet.
Right.
For $1.
Yeah. But that's interesting, right? Because like a lot of times with the
Or
buying
$10
additional
maybe. I
things
don't know.
end up being
$10.
Games that has more longevity, right? Where they do have seasons, so you'll want to buy stuff because you're going to be playing it for a while. It's kind of hard to get
I don't
people
know
to
what they're
buy
gonna
stuff
do.
for just
I'm
that.
assuming they're going to. They might be going more like the PoE route, where it's like the whole thing's free, and they get money other ways. But I mean, this stuff's not free.
Right.
Like, you had to pay. The game's paid, which is cool. I'd rather pay for the game and have it be like more feature complete than make it free, but then I have to spend $300 on heirloom.
Yeah.
Which is a different issue.
Now we're talking about our our favorite pay to play. It's free to play, but
it is. No,
anyway.
it's cool. I'd rather do that one though.
Anyway. Okay, so other than Last Epoch, right? I think the other one that gets mentioned with this game is Path of Exile, which I also kind of took a little look at. But Path of Exile 2 is not out yet, but it's supposed to be this summer.
So I heard something like that. I don't know. I never played Path of Exile 1, but all I hear is it's Last Epoch's like a good in between. If Diablo is like the hyper casual ARPG, Path of Exile is like the other extreme, where like you need to like study and read to be able to do it. Like it's really in depth, and Last Epoch doesn't feel that way, but it definitely has a lot more depth than Diablo does. Like you can make your teleport pull people towards you, and then like cast abilities.
Right.
Like you can completely customize, or it feels like it, your character. Whereas like you can't do that.
Do you think you're gonna play Path of Exile, or might skip?
I don't know. Maybe. I never got to because I didn't have a PC that could play it, which is the big thing.
Do
but
now.
But now I do, so I might. I mean, it's also free. At least Path of Exile 1 is. I don't know if PoE is free. I don't know if the second one's going to be.
Yeah.
But from what I saw, it looks cool. It looks like this, like Path of Exile, but just more, even more in depth.
Yeah. Well, maybe
which could be cool.
Maybe we'll all jump on and take a look and.
Yeah.
And then have something to compare, something else to compare Last Epoch to other than Diablo, because Diablo was, for anybody who played Diablo 3 and waited very, very long for Diablo 4, it was both exciting at the beginning. Like the campaign itself was actually pretty cool. And then it was just...
Campaign was the best part, for sure.
But that went by super quickly, and then it was just, For me,
the campaign was the best part, and then there was just nothing to do.
Pretty much. So,
and you weren't rewarded for doing it.
No, you're not. It's the whole like we're building stuff so people can sit on this game and want to, it's for people who want to spend money and buy skins and whatnot.
It was engagement driven, not like for fun.
Yeah.
Like we have 100 dungeons, but you can't tell 3 of them apart from each other.
I ended up doing the same dungeon over and over again because it was so fast. I picked out my fastest ones and just flew through it like to farm XP. Well, that's cool. So Last Epoch is available on Windows and Linux, and which I'm like, I didn't think I'd say the word Linux again in my lifetime, but apparently I do get to.
Yeah.
Like, do people play it on Linux? I'm sure.
I mean, they might.
Not me.
If they released it, I'm sure someone will.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks so much for jumping on here.
Yeah.
Now we get to say goodbye to everybody. So
cool.
Later.